I ain't gonna make it. No, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it through the door. Now that I'm over 50, my bladder's not so nifty. This is my life, this is my song. I'll fight the rushing urges to make the flowing purges. You don't know pain when the line is long. I ain't gonna make it. No, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it through the door. Oh, you're so condescending. My self-control is waning. I don't want nothing but a freed-up John. Your life is smooth and easy. Your needs are cheap and cheesy. Get off my toilet, get off my lawn. Whoa, whoa. I'm old.
Yeah.
I drink.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Go pee.
I ain't gonna make it.
No, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it through the door. I ain't gonna make it. No, I ain't gonna make it. I may have to go here on the floor. No way! Whoa, whoa. I'm old.
Yeah.
I drink.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Go pee. I ain't gonna make it. No, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it through the door. I ain't gonna make it. No, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it through the door. I ain't gonna make it. No, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it through the door. Get out of my way, son! I ain't gonna make it. Come on! No, I ain't gonna make it.
My bladder's worthless
I
anyway.
may have to go here on the floor.
Please, dude, I'll give you a 20.
Oh, for crying out loud! What are you doing, knitting? Come on, man! Ah, whoops, too late. Time to do laundry.
Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcap production. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're listening live, be sure to join our chat on Spreaker. If you're listening dead, Please stop voting Democrat, but enjoy the show anyway. And a fine howdy doody to all those out there in counterculture-wise land. Boy, do we have a fun show tonight. We are going to revisit all of our Google parodies because they are celebrating a big birthday this year, and we just can't let them get away without poking some fun at them. So buckle in, folks. We've got 6 years of Goggle parodies.
Yay!
Woo! Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, so glad to have you listening in. If you're old here, thanks for coming back. If you'd like to join us in chat, head on over to Spreaker, and that is where you can join us and chat with us live, and we read our chats and have fun there. If you're listening after the fact, no matter where you are, no matter what podcast venue you may be listening from, drop everything.
Ow, Mother, why did you drop that on my head again? Ow, ow.
Max really needs to stand far, far away when... Poor kitty. Okay. Drop everything and hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. Tell people about this podcast. And if you like what you hear, give us a 6 billion star review. One
At
for
least.
each
Maybe
Hamas
6
dollar.
billion and one.
Yeah, 6 billion star review. And if you're not enjoying it, just drop like, I don't know, 5. Just enough to be insulting, like 5 stars, just so we know, you're a little bit miffed. And if we really offend you, head on over to counterculturewise.com and fill out the ID 10T form, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Indeed.
Got all that out of the way. Now, let me tell you who I am. I am your
Please.
hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope. And here with me in the studio, besides the dogs and the cats and all kinds of other critters here far and near, is my co-host.
Her favorite critter.
He kind of is. He's not as fuzzy as he used to be. He's still pretty cuddly. Also happens to be my husband, my very best friend, and, wait for it, my sweet baboo, Mr. James Mogan.
I'm only one man.
Well, you know what they say.
What?
You have to have a man who cleans like a butler, cooks like a chef, makes love like a wildcat, and hope they never meet each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know I start out every week lately with a dad joke. I feel weird about it because I don't have any kids. I'm a faux pas. It's just
I get it. All right. Okay.
All right.
You earned that one.
I'm done for 7 days. Good. Okay. All right.
I actually use your jokes to threaten some of my kids who won't do math. So.
Oh no, anything but that.
So I have lots of kids that your dad jokes are work on. Okay. Well, we said a little prayer before we went on, and I guess we'll continue to keep Israel and the innocent folks over there in our prayers. All heck broke loose, and I hate how much our country facilitated that. It's sad that this country that's supposed to be so great, and this country that is supposed to be, based on Christian values, no matter what they say we're supposed to be, is out there just causing war after war after war, and it's
like we're crusading all over again.
Yeah, only worse.
Only not, because Christianity doesn't appear to be involved in any of this.
No.
So
our prayers go out to Israel and war in the Middle East. I mean, we had about 5 minutes of peace, and they decided couldn't have that, so we had to declare a pandemic and sue Trump into oblivion. So here we are.
Yep, and Chuck will be talking more about that
A little bit.
a little bit. We also have Max interviewing tonight for the first time in a while. He's looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the usual stuff. But like I said, our big celebration tonight is going to be our Google spoofs, which we call Goggle. I think those of you who haven't heard them, we're going back into our archives.
When was the first one we did? It was 6 years
2018.
ago. Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have an actual, honest-to-goodness, real-life sponsor. We will be updating our website, which I have not gotten to and really need to hit. And they have coffee that is non-political, doesn't hate you, coffee brand coffee. We are an affiliate with them, and they have spiked jack-o'-lantern flavored coffee that is selling out quickly. So I'll have links up tomorrow on our website for you to get this spiked jack-o'-lantern flavored coffee.
This is a great way for you to...
A bewitching blend of premium coffee infused with the enchanting flavors of rich pumpkin spice and a hint of warming cinnamon. All elegantly spiked with a touch of creamy Irish cream liqueur essence. Ooh.
Gotta tell you, this is a great way to serve yourself and help us out. So please click on the link when you have a chance.
When the link is up.
When the link is up.
We'll get there.
To get some delicious coffee and help us with our cause.
We're always looking for other sponsors. We don't like doing like ad spots, but we do have a couple in the middle. If you listen to our ads in the middle after the recording or even live, we tend to drop in some fun ones too, so it's not always just commercials. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun over here. Okay, we haven't made a stinger for this yet, so let's talk about the TDSer of the week.
Oh, okay, well, last week it was the entire state of New York. Now we're going to look at the FBI. Not a Quinn Martin production, not starring Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., the real FBI. The FBI of 2023 that is just basically a tool of whoever's in charge. The Biden FBI has quietly created a new category of extremists that seeks to track and counter Donald Trump's army of MAGA followers ahead of the 2024 election, according to prolific and well-connected anti-war journalist and political commentator William Arkin, who has previously reported on the FBI's efforts to fight MAGA terrorism.
What MAGA terrorism?
I've
What terrorism?
How many MAGA people do you know who are terrorists?
What city has any... Do they even know what MAGA stands for anymore? Or are they just so mired in stupidity that they've forgotten what it stands for?
Anyway,
what buildings have been burned down? What cities have been destroyed? What stores have been looted? What people have been shot in the streets? What terrorism? What the living blazes are they talking about?
I have no idea.
I mean, these people are hysterical. They're psychotic and in hysterics over nothing.
I'm not going to read this whole thing. We say that everywhere. We're not going to read the whole thing because it's really long, but in a Newsweek article on Wednesday, Arkin reveals that the vast majority of FBI investigations into anti-government activities are of Trump supporters. The FBI is in an almost impossible position, a current FBI official told Arkin, who added that the agency's stated intent is stopping a repeat of January 6th type incidents, which, by the way, we all know, riddled with feds,
yeah.
all over the place, while balancing the constitutional right of Americans to protest the government.
If you don't want something like that to happen again, don't start it.
There you go. While balancing the constitutional right of Americans to protest the government, especially at a time when the White House is facing congressional Republican opposition, claiming that the Biden administration has weaponized the Bureau against the right wing. Claim? Anyway, it has to tread very carefully, the official continued. Newsweek spoke to over a dozen current or former government officials who specialize in terrorism in a 3-month investigation to understand what the current domestic security landscape and to evaluate what President Joe Biden's administration is doing about what it calls domestic terrorism. What it calls domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
Most requested anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly, were reluctant to stray into partisan politics, or feared the repercussions of speaking frankly. So on and on and on and on. This week, we salute you, FBI, because you are the TDSer of the week.
The fumbling, bumbling incompetence of the FBI. Well,
we need, I guess, to bring back our favorite FBI agent.
Poor Mr. Orange. He's
a decent guy.
Yeah. Well, Hillary kind of dovetailed on that. You know, the one who's been allowed to say that he was an illegitimate president and the voting didn't work and the election was was a sham and this and that. She's allowed to say all that, but nobody else is allowed to even so much as question it. Anyways, Miss Hillary, who never was president, by the way, believes that we need to be, and by we I mean anybody who disagrees with her. I'm not necessarily a full-on dyed-in-the-wool Trump supporter. I mean, I think he's better than pretty much anything we've got right now, but I don't think that I need to be sent to a re-education camp, okay? I think this is getting a little bit ridiculous. So she says, I think sadly he will become the nominee, and we have to defeat them, and we have to defeat those who are the election deniers. Nobody denied there was an election. People were asking you to count the frickin' votes, and you still haven't.
And they won't.
As we did in 2020 and in the midterms in 2022, we just have to be smarter about how we're trying to empower the right people inside the Republican Party. Clinton, what do you have to do with the Republican Party? And why do you think it's up to you to empower anybody? You're not a Republican. So she's talking about the fall of McCarthy, the first House Speaker ever rejected by his own party, thanks to pro-Trump extremists. She calls Trump an authoritarian populist.
Excuse me?
Isn't that like me being a...
Yeah, it is. It is like you being
an
one of those.
authoritarian populist, which makes my Zionist Nazi almost pale in comparison. Okay,
No,
he really has a grip
else.
on the emotional and psychological needs and desires of a portion of the population and the base of the Republican Party for whatever combination of reasons. Wow, she really thinks highly of herself. Not high enough to marry a man.
She just needs to get over it.
Not high enough to marry a man who'll be faithful to her, but she really... Republicans, she said, seeing him someone who speaks for them, and they are determined they will continue to vote for him, attend his rallies, and wear his merchandise because for whatever reason he and his very negative, nasty form of politics resonates with them. Negative and nasty. Mm-hmm. Make America great again. That does sound negative and nasty. We want our country to be the best it can be.
That goes back to Ronald Reagan. Will you listen to me?
Maybe they don't like migrants. Maybe they don't like gay people or black people or the woman who got the promotion at work that they didn't get, whatever the reason. Yeah, you racist pedo pusher. My God. Clinton said Trump's Make America Great Again slogan first in 2016 was a bid for nostalgia to return to a place where people could be in charge of their lives, feel empowered, say what they want, and insult whoever came in their way. Not seeing anything wrong with any of those things. God forbid we should be empowered or... And that was really attractive to a significant portion of the Republican base. So it is like a cult, and somebody has to break it, that momentum.
In
and
all
that's why
fairness,
I believe
there
Joe
are people...
Biden will defeat them. Joe Biden isn't even alive.
By the way, I think a lot of Democrats want to have control over their own lives, too. I just putting that... I'm not talking about the so-called leaders. I'm talking about the rank-and-file, well-intentioned Democratic voters. I think the vast majority of them want the same thing. So why is it a bad thing that people want to...
According to her, he's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point...
Fake ones that you and your cohorts...
Yeah, completely made up. Maybe at some point there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
Isn't that nice?
Deprogramming. So, believe it or not, little Brian Stelter was the one who tweeted at her saying, what does that look like? And I just replied, CNN. Formal deprogramming. These people are sick.
They're nuts.
I mean, they're absolutely out of their mind.
They're totally batshit. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, well, would you like to play one of our very first goggle?
Yeah, let's play our very first because, I got to admit, it's probably my favorite one.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it is.
This is way back before we had a studio, before we even had microphones. And
we were recording this into our phones, and we've never, well, except for once, I haven't had, like, exactly top-of-the-line phones. So, here we go.
Yeah, so this is a flashback.
At Goggle, we believe that life should be simple and easy to handle. That's why we have taken it over. We have expanded our 24/7 surveillance of everyday people just like you. We now work with the finest federal, state, and local authorities to ensure you a life of comfort and security. Introducing Goggle House.
Okay, Goggle, who's at the door?
It's your crazy ex-boyfriend, fresh out of jail, and he has a blood alcohol level of 0.12.
Okay, Goggle, kill! Thanks, Goggle.
Anytime.
Okay, Goggle, what shall I make my date for dinner tonight?
According to a phone call he made to his coworker last week, his favorite dish is veal scallopini.
Gosh, Goggle House, what would I ever do without you?
Fortunately, we will never, ever know.
Goggle, bringing 1984 into 2018 since 1998.
Well, that was our very first
That
Goggle
was like
House.
5.5 years ago. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And all of these are based on, I mean, except for the attack helicopter, all of these are based on real stories.
Yeah.
So there was a Goggle House that took over, a Google House that took over and locked people in and wouldn't let them out and all kinds of crazy things. So that's what that one was based on.
The Google has been, I've always been torn about Google because I use their product.
You can't not. It's like
In
you can't
full
go
in full
anywhere.
disclosure,
You're on a Chromebook
the
now.
laptop I'm using is a Chromebook, and the phone I use is a Motorola Android. So yeah,
You're
I
mired in
use their
Google.
product. They've got great product,
Well,
but
you
what
are
alternative
the
do we
product.
have? I mean, we got
You are the product.
Apple and like some really expensive thing that I don't know.
I want to get a little less child slavey in my
Yeah.
my purchases. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to once things settle in our personal lives to get a laptop that has just a different operating system, not necessarily Linux, but something that I don't feel like I'm being monitored every 5 minutes. So we'll see what happens.
Well, the next one that we did was the following year when we learned of a story of the DoD actually employing Google. So this is based on that story.
At Goggle, we take your privacy seriously. Okay, we both know I just lied. There's simply too much money to be made. And we're happy to announce that we have once again boosted our stock prices by working with the finest government agencies. Take this fine example.
Department of Defense Project Maven, Bob's Hardware. General Havoc speaking.
Hello, General. This is Anastasia McPheezy. I'm the head of security at Goggle. We have the new artificial intelligence algorithms to use with your drones. This is George Grimby. I have your hammer order ready.
Excellent, George. This will help us in our fight against Islam. The order is right on time. We were almost out of hammers.
Sir, I have to admit, I have a few concerns about the order.
Like what?
Well, we have a reputation here at Silicon Valley. Our employees tend to be a bit progressive. They wouldn't want us to be involved in a war, and we don't want the NSA debacle all over again. Even the 3 conservatives we have left here are concerned about their privacy.
There's still 3?
Well, yes, their names are Wendy Wasserstein.
Never mind that. Look, we won't be as careless this time. Besides, that was years ago. And Americans just don't have that kind of attention span these days. Look, here's all you have to do. If they find out, just issue a vague press release saying that while you understand their concerns, this is all in the name of preserving peace, it's completely mechanical, and no personal information will be submitted, blah, blah, blah.
Do you think they'll buy it?
Of course they will. What do you think this is? Facebook?
Goggle, bringing 1984 into 2018 since 1998.
I guess we did 2 that year. I thought we did 1 the following year, but that was still
The,
2018.
by the way, all except the brand new one are on video, if I'm not mistaken. We've done animations for them.
Most of them, yeah.
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 Okay, so
I don't think we did the last couple, but I will be working on those because they're kind of timeless.
we definitely did one for Maven and one for Goggle Home.
Yeah, for the first 2, we did the home, we did the DoD, and we did China.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we did China.
Well, let's listen to China. At Goggle, we care about you. We want you and America to succeed. How do we do this? By rigging American elections using Chinese money and then blaming it on the Russians. What can be more American than that? And how are we raising Chinese money, you ask? Here's Goggle spokeswoman Amanda Spokes to explain.
In 2010, we took a bold stand against Chinese censorship of our products. Since then, of course, we've come to our senses. After all, China has a population of 1.34 billion people. Our measly American population of 311 million just can't compete with that. Besides, we've already dominated the West with our product, and now it's time to head east. Rest assured, though, our new Chinese friends will have the same wide range of search engine access as you do, as long as they don't search for silly subjects like human rights, democracy, religion, and peaceful protest. What does this mean for you in the long term? Well, in order to appease the deep state, in order to streamline our global operations, we are going to provide a more uniform browsing experience for all of our customers worldwide. China and the EU are holding us to stringent standards, and we believe these stringent standards should also be applied here in our home country. Besides, you know enough about human rights and democracy. You certainly don't need our help for that. In conclusion, I would like to say to our loyal American supporters that we appreciate your money. I mean your loyalty. As they say in China, Azia Japan.
How's that for blatant honesty? Goggle, bringing 1984 into 2018 since 1998.
We had a lot of fun on Goggle's behalf.
Yes, we did.
We
Well,
actually have Goggle merch, too. So
Absolutely, yeah. You can get
Yeah,
Goggle mugs,
cups
Goggle.
and all kinds of fun stuff. So head on over to counterculture.com and check out our Goggle merch.
Well, let's keep rolling with it.
Keep
Yeah.
rolling? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, of course, Google bought YouTube, so we had to poke fun at them for that.
At Goggle, we value your freedom of speech. Just ask any of the millions of people using our popular video platform, YouBoob.
It's the best way to post my creative content. For instance, I'm editing my video with all of President Trump's gaffes in one convenient place.
YouBoob has everything I need to publish my animations, all of which imply businessmen being the evil overlords destroying our social fabric.
I usually post videos of my cats bopping each other on the heads, which for some reason gets thousands of views. But every few weeks I post a video where I discuss my support of the Republican Party. Those seem to get very few views, though. Oh well.
I post provocative videos exposing the lies of the left. Every few months I have to check and make sure that people even have access to the videos. I actually get more views on other video sites, but hey, it's YouBoob. Gotta have a presence there.
I love YouBoob. It totally supports everything I've published so far. I'm changing gears, though. In my newest video, I'm going to be discussing the Ukraine whistleblower, Eric...
Goggle, bringing 1984 into 2020 since 1998.
You still can't say his name.
No. No.
You still can't say his name. We get taken down all the time, and we just got taken down for one of our, holy crap, this is actually happening. They said we were glorifying violence. And not only did we not mention violence at all, we certainly weren't glorifying it. And we typically, when you contest it, they just ignore you. But they actually did get back to us and had a person look at it, which I was blown away because that never happens on our main channel. They pretty much deleted our main channel for all intents and purposes.
So that's why we're on other networks, like Locals and
BitChute and
eventually
Rumble and
Truth Leak and a few others. But
subscribe still. Yeah.
Ones nobody's heard of because that's where everybody's going to. Is other places.
Well, I think Rumble's gonna
Rumble and BitChute and
get better. Yeah,
so.
It's so funny because we can put a video up and we'll literally get no views at all on YouTube, but like instantly get hundreds of views on BitChute. So it's like
we have followers in the true sense of the word on the other networks. So those are the platforms we're concentrating on. But like the Alex Jones impersonator said in the video, the last audio is, we just want to have a presence there because it's YouTube.
Yep.
But we don't. It's not our primary source of.
Nah.
It's not.
I did archive all of our interviews to the max and Poetry Corner and She's So Fritzy all on Counterculture Cats. So
we have all of those coming up again soon, including, like I said earlier, a interview to the max this evening, probably during our second hour, and I think it's going to be. I think you'll enjoy.
Oh, we're already halfway into our first hour. Well, let's keep going.
Why not? Let's
Introducing Google Safe Search. You might remember this coming around.
At Goggle, we know how important truth is. So much so that we have declared ourselves the overlords of what truths you are allowed to look for, question, or learn about. Our one-way biased protected search engine now ensures that if you want to find anything we, the Democrats, or China disagree with, it simply won't exist. This easy-to-use interface protects you from ever learning any facts that might lead you to make decisions we don't want you to, and does so in such a subtle and friendly way that you have no idea that you're being fed a liquid diet of Goebbels-esque propaganda. We're proud of our algorithms, and we just know you'll love them too. Here are just a few of our finest examples. Searches for Antifa violence returns multiple Wikipedia articles explaining how Antifa doesn't really exist, the City of Seattle website describing the Summer of Love, and a Washington Post article that repeats Orange Man Bad over and over until the comments section takes over with poop emojis. A search for Hunter Biden's laptop returns ads for the newest Apple products, an official statement from the White House on the efficacy of vaccines, and the Travel Advisory Board's recommendations for a vacation in North Korea. A search for Kamala Harris's failed border policies now returns a lovely recipe for chamomile tea. These are just a few of the many ways we protect you from unsafe, unfettered thinking. Never again will you have to worry about you, your spouse, or your kids learning something that we don't want them to, thanks to Goggle. Goggle, bringing 1984 to 2021 since 1998.
It has been interesting comparing the search results of Google and other search engines. And it always cracks me up when somebody's like, oh, why don't you Google it? Well, because Google doesn't return actual search results anymore.
Right.
So
first thing that comes up is, by the way, is usually a bunch of ads.
Yeah.
So that's what they're driven by is, and they're a business. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's
the ads don't bother me so much. It's when you're trying to. When I'm researching, say, for the Holy Crap segment, I try to back it up with articles, and sometimes I have to go to different countries in order to find actual news articles because our press won't report on it, and it certainly won't come up in Google. And older stuff, I mean, you have to actually go to the Wayback Machine or the Archiver, which is why we archive all of our links, because they get memory hold. And you'll remember something that you read several years ago, and it will be gone. So we archive all of our links, and that way we know you can always get to them. I think the last one we did before we kind of hung up the goggles for a while,
so to speak,
was Goggle Maps. because
Oh, yeah.
I think that came out of a real life experience. So let's see what happened here.
At Goggle, we believe that your great experiences can be somebody else's great experiences. And we love hearing your reviews of restaurants, stores, and other places you visit. That's why Goggle Maps and our other mapping system, Wheeze, come complete with a review system for the places you visit every day. Honey, I'm having trouble with my phone. It's slowed down to a crawl. You know how to fix these things. Would you mind having a look?
Of course, sweetie. What's this? Tell us about your visit to Diana's flowers. Oh, you got me flowers? How sweet.
Oh, those were from my friend in the hospital, sweetie. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that's okay. It's so sweet of you to look after your friends.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll get you some flowers soon. You know, I just remembered I need to make a phone call to make sure they got the flowers. Can I have the phone back?
Oh, okay. Another one? How did you like your trip to the Metro Steakhouse? What? You keep promising me dinner there and you went by yourself?
Babe, please don't get upset. My friend is so tired of hospital food and they don't know how long she's going to be in the hospital.
She?
Oh, babe, she's an admin assistant at work and old enough to be my mother. Please calm down.
Never, ever, ever tell a woman to calm down. Now what the hell?
Can I just have my phone back, please?
No way, Buster. Let's see. On a scale from 1 to 5, how would you rate your visit to Bunny Ranch Escorts?
What the hell? Oh, no. 3 days later.
Sir, we did the best we could, but your phone is still lodged. We've scheduled 2 more surgeries, and then you'll need a year of physical therapy to get back on your feet. Meanwhile, we'll just have to wait until the battery dies.
Oh, can you do anything for the pain?
How are you enjoying your stay at Starr County Hospital? Say a number from 1 to 5, 5 being perfectly satisfied, 1 being not satisfied. Please rate your comfort level.
Goggle, bringing 1984 into 2022 since 1998.
I love that one, too.
I think that's one of my favorite endings of all time. All right, well, let's do this. Goggle is 25. Happy 25th birthday, Goggle.
At Goggle, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. From our humble beginnings as a search engine with a catchy name, we have become more essential to your life than God. From our #1 search page to YouBoob, from our crime books to our Scamdroid phones, we have made your life easier by controlling your thoughts for you and influencing every move you make. And we couldn't have done it without you. Without your constant use of our products, we wouldn't have been able to censor your speech, monitor your web usage, influence your spending, peddle political influence all over the world, and bend your nation to the will of our overlords in the Chinese Communist Party. Best of all, we are even now controlling the political process in the U.S. to ensure the 2024 elections of politicians who will keep this going. Thanks, America. As we look forward to our next 25 years, we look with optimism to the day when we own half the world's economy, 90% of the media, and the distribution of all the essentials of your lives. Until then, remember to just say, "Hey, Goggle!" Goggle, bringing 1984 into eternity since 1998.
Happy birthday, Goggle.
And who knows what we're going to do next? Well,
knows
actually,
what they're gonna do next.
what Google's going to do next.
Yeah.
They'll probably wind up buying Amazon. Who knows?
Oh,
I don't
give them any ideas.
I don't think even our government would let that happen.
Don't give them any ideas. All right, well, let's head on into some...
Counterculture Wise is proud to present
News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
Okay, so we got a couple of pretty weird ones. This one's actually interesting.
Okay.
A 4,400-year-old lost Egyptian tomb was rediscovered, and it still had a mummy inside.
Wow.
So this is in Czechoslovakia. And they have rediscovered the lost tomb of ancient Egyptian high official P-T-A-H-S-H-E-P-S-E-S. That's like the sound you make when you've had too many beans.
And we would know.
Anyways, this mummy lived during the 24th and 25th centuries BCE. The discovery was announced in a statement published on Facebook by the Czech Institute of Egyptology. How much of Egypt is in Czechoslovakia? I'm totally confused right now. The tomb was found in a zone between the pyramid fields of Abusir and Sakra. So I guess the Czech guys are in wherever. Okay. It was partially exposed nearly 160 years ago by French archaeologist Auguste Marionnette.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to try.
Who uncovered a huge false door and a lintel originally placed above the cult chapel's entrance. The sands of the western desert soon covered the tomb again. It was a difficult search lasting several years, says Miroslav Barta, head of the research at Abusir. Detailed satellite imagery of the area and the study of old maps led to the rediscovery of the tomb of in 2022. The tomb of a man who changed the course of Egyptian history and thus has been rediscovered, representing one of the expedition's greatest recent discoveries. Rediscovered, recent discovery, rediscovered.
Tushepses. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Tushepses.
It's a weird sentence. The result is still ongoing, and further discoveries will likely be made to shed new light on his family and times. The high official served under the Nizraeni, a pharaoh during the Old Kingdom period. Nisraer was the sixth ruler of the 5th dynasty. Given political, historical, and religious significance, the tomb is one of the most remarkable discoveries of the recent period of Egyptian archaeology, the Czech mission statement asserts. They also highlight the tomb's role as a link between the mastaba, where the was buried, and the neighboring extensive family tombs, such as that of senior official Tai, whose nearby tomb was constructed about the same time. Dude was just named Tai, T-Y. See, that is
not
a perfectly...
Tushepses, Tai.
But Tai, just Tai. Need a towel now. Mastaba measures 42 by 22 meters and is more than 4 meters high. What's a mastaba? Why are you looking at me like that? You're older than me. You're supposed to know more.
There's a nasty joke in there somewhere. Anyway.
What? You're older than me. You're supposed to know this stuff. Mastaba is the building.
Okay.
A rectangular superstructure of ancient Egyptian tombs built of mud, brick,
kind
or
of
stone.
like the thing that we see in the photo right above
sloping
it. Okay.
Walls, kind of, yeah. Well, that's kind of a pyramid.
Okay, well.
It's more flattish.
Okay.
Anyways, it measures 42 by 22 meters. It is more than 4 meters high. While the burial chamber was robbed centuries or even millennia ago, the team found pottery, remains of votive offerings, canopic jars, and the world's first example of a mummified fish.
Well, I'll be fished.
Why
I'll
would
be
we want to mummify a fish? The partially open sarcophagus still contained the complete mummy of... Analysis of the mummy confirms that lived a long time, a fact hinted to by the inscriptions on the false door. That biography suggests that he lived during the reign of 6 kings of the late 4th and 5th dynasties, Menkaura, Sepaka, they list them all. According to anthropologists, he lived to the age of 65 or more.
Now that in those days, that was old.
That's old dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So really, really interesting. I think we shall name him Bob.
Rather than Potepses? Okay.
Yeah. And now we know what a mastaba is. All right, this next one. You're going to get a kick out of this one.
This is hilarious. This shows you...
This is what we need to do more. We need to do more of this.
This is a sign of the times.
Yeah, we need to do more of this.
It was meant to be a week for women in tech,
but this year's Grace Hopper celebration was swamped by men who gate-crashed the event in search of lucrative tech jobs. The annual conference and career fair aimed at women and non-binary tech workers, which takes its name from a pioneering computer scientist, took place last week in Orlando, Florida. The event bills itself as the largest gathering of women in tech worldwide and has sought to unite women in the tech industry for nearly 30 years. Sponsors include Apple, Amazon, and Bloomberg, and it's a major networking opportunity for aspiring tech workers. This doesn't surprise me. In-person admission costs between $649 and around $1,300.
Yikes. Wow. They make bank.
This year, droves of men showed up with resumes in hand. AnitaB.org, the nonprofit that runs the conference, said there was an increase in participation of SOOF in identifying males at this year's event. The nonprofit says it believes allyship from men is important and noted it cannot ban men from attending due to federal non-discrimination protections in the U.S. Ha, ha, ha. Organizers expressed frustration. Past iterations of the conference have always felt safe and loving and embracing, said Bo Young Lee, president of advisory to AnitaB.org, in a LinkedIn post. And this year, I must admit, I didn't feel this way. Cullen White, Anita B. whatever her name is.
AnitaB.org.
I keep wanting to say Anita Borg.
Anita Borg.
So it's going to be Anita Borg
Anita
for the
Borg's
rest of the article.
Borg.
Chief Impact Officer. You need a Chief Impact Officer?
Apparently.
What in the heck does a Chief Impact Officer?
I don't know.
Said in a video posted to X, formerly Twitter, that some registrants have lied about their gender identity when signing up, and men were now taking up space and time with recruiters that should go to women. All of those are limited resources to which you have no right,
Wah, wah.
Cullen White said. Anita Borg did not respond to a request for comment. Tech jobs, once a fairly safe and lucrative bet, have become more elusive. That's because we reached a saturation point. just
Okay,
like with
I'm
everything else.
looking up what the Chief Impact Officer is.
Okay.
And apparently Taco Bell has hired Lil Nas X to be theirs.
Oh, so satanic rappers. Unbelievable.
The
Obviously,
role-
it's not a necessary position if you're going to hire that clown.
Okay, key response. The Chief Purpose Officers and Chief Impact Officers have similar objectives to drive impact through the organization's mission, vision, and values. This isn't real.
You don't need one of those.
They're just making this up. It's not even a real
Man, I
thing.
want to make up a job.
Why your
That's
company,
been my issue though all these years.
You should have just made one up. Why
I
your
should just
company
make
needs
one
a Chief
job up.
Impact Officer and what the position calls for. It's one of the most important positions.
No, it
You
isn't.
didn't know you needed if you want to succeed.
We don't. I want to succeed. But I don't do that.
I predict every major company and startup will soon be hiring its own Chief Impact Officer, and in doing so, elevating the voice of impact.
I want to be an impact officer.
What
Boom,
it-
chicka, boom,
the
chicka,
voice
boom,
of it?
chicka,
What
boom.
does that even mean?
I don't know.
I'm trying to figure better hire, blah, blah, blah. CIOs are so rare, currently sent, blah, 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 still not telling me what they are. Businesses are under more pressure to save society, with more people trusting businesses than they do governments or NGOs. Exceptionally heavy burden, yada, yada, still not telling me what they do.
That's the thing. You have to go several. If you have to go several paragraphs beyond the first one, saying an impact officer is a,
Yeah, nobody's...
then it's just a bunch. It's a baloney
Nobody's
job.
saying what it
it's a
is.
new age baloney job
Well,
for
plus,
baloney people
it
for
is.
baloney companies. Okay.
Corporate social responsibility. The CIO will ensure that all
Okay.
of these pieces fit together. So
I thought that people would learn from Anheuser-Busch and Target and other things that these kind of baloney positions.
well, Ben and Jerry's has one, of course,
Well, duh.
and of course they have to invoke Saint Fentanyl Floyd. It's just a bunch of
Yeah, it's baloney.
gibberish.
Anyway, tech jobs, once a fairly safe and lucrative bet, have become more elusive. In 2022 and 2023, tech companies around the world laid off more than 400,000 workers, according to layoffs.fyi. a site that will, of course, tracks job losses across the industry. Tens of thousands of those cuts have come from huge employers like Meta and Amazon, and some firms have instituted hiring freezes. The layoffs have been particularly brutal for immigrant workers who have been left scrambling for sponsorship in the U.S. after losing work. The controversy at the Grace Hopper celebration
Just took
shows...
a fun article and made it all boring and stuff. I just want to talk about how the guys crashed it. The rest is all boring. Meh. Job cuts and blah, blah, and wah, wah, wah. So basically, a bunch of men showed up and said, yeah, I'm non-binary, let me in. And they did, and they had to. And I think that's
From
hilarious.
now on, I want to be called Loretta.
You can't have a baby.
Anyway.
It used to be humorous, and now...
Yeah, it was supposed to be funny, and it just turned into a... Chief Officer of French Fry Provisions.
Oh, is this the medical thing that you were talking about? You said something medical happened in Waco, and I'm like,
well,
okay.
see, I couldn't remember what it was
Something
precisely,
medical.
but yes, this is something I think that is a good
Okay.
thing. It happened right here in our
So a procedure recently
area.
used to remove a tumor from a Waco woman's heart at Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest shows promise as a less invasive alternative to open heart surgery. I can see why this interested you, Mr. Fibrillation Boy. Dr.
Just call me
Nilesh
Dr.
Goswami said the procedure he used in April to remove a benign 4-centimeter tumor from the heart of Waco woman Kay Bradford, a 77-year-old former music teacher and grandmother of 12, has seldom been used before, and he hopes it can be studied and become more widely used. Goswami, the director of Baylor Scott and White's Cardiac Catheterization Lab, has submitted a case report detailing the procedure to a medical journal. I actually have a student who would be interested in this. The non-surgical procedure left Bradford with a much shorter recovery time, only 1 to 2 weeks of rest, compared to a typical recovery time of 2 to 3 months for traditional open heart surgery.
By the way, the hospital I stayed at, which was an Adventist hospital, since it was in this region, it was run by Baylor Scott White. They're a great organization.
Well, that hospital treated you wonderfully.
They were great. They were fantastic.
Goswami said the procedure was done by inserting a catheter into the femoral artery, which connects to the right atrium of the heart where the tumor was located. The catheter then traveled all the way up the artery to the tumor, where the tumor was cut away using electrocautery, a method in which electricity is passed through a wire, heating the wire and allowing it to cut the tissue like a hot knife through butter.
Far out.
The tumor was then sucked out in one piece through the catheter. I'm sure it made that exact sound, too. Functioning as a sort of vacuum cleaner, the whole procedure took about 1 hour.
An hour? Wow, that's nothing.
That is, and they didn't have to crack her ribs or nothing. That's amazing. Goswami said he submitted a case report of the procedure last week to the Medical Journal of Catheterization and Cardiovascular Interventions.
Medical journal for everything. Wow, okay.
Yep. He said the report is published. It could be the largest documented tumor removed in one piece using this type of procedure. This is amazing. I'm actually going to share this with my pre-med student because I think he'll get a kick out of it. All right. Oh, we love our Guinness World Records.
What's that now?
We love our Guinness World Records.
Yes, we do. We do. And this is amazing because, I don't know about you, but I think I managed to put a 2-playing card house together once.
I don't think I've ever even managed that.
Mine all wind up looking like the aftermath of an earthquake.
Yeah.
Anyway, a 15-year-old from India spent 41 days using playing cards to build replicas of 4 buildings from his home city of Calcutta, breaking a Guinness World Record in the process. Arnav Daga's finished project measures 40 feet long, 11 feet and 4 inches high, and 16 feet and 8 inches wide, breaking the world record for the largest playing card structure. Daga's creation broke the record set by Brian Berg, whose playing card structure of 3 Macau hotels measured 34 feet and 1 inch long, 9 feet and 5 inches tall, and 11 feet and 11 inches wide. Daga said he used about 143,000 cards to build replicas of the Writers' Building, the Shahid Minar, Salt Lake Stadium, and St. Paul's Cathedral. The teenager said his 41-day process was slowed when the Shahid Minar did what houses of cards are most famous for doing, falling down. It was frustrating that so many hours and days of work got wiped out and I had to do it all over again. But for me, there was no turning back, he told Guinness.
That's what glue is for. Look, he just gave me.
That's what glue is for. The very idea. Anyway. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Alrighty. Well, we are at the top of the hour, and I say we let Max do his interview.
All right.
And hear what he has to say. It's been a while, Macamal.
Live from the Counterculture-Wise newsroom, it's Interviews to the Max, with your favorite interviewer and mine, Maximilian von Riegelbeezer.
Thank you, Larry! I am thrilled to the height of my cat food bowl to bring you this interview about an important subject facing America every day. It is with great honor that I introduce to our viewers and listeners the head of the Department of Motherland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas.
That's Homeland Security, not Motherland Security.
That's strange. I usually get the person's name wrong.
What?
So, Mr. Mazurka, I understand you're extending Trump's border wall across the southern border of Texas. Am I correct in that assertion?
Yes, but it's not a wall.
It isn't? Well, what is it then?
It's a barrier.
A barrier?
That's right.
And how tall is the barrier?
Oh, anywhere from 18 to 30 feet.
So it's a wall?
No, it's a large fence-like structure.
What would its purpose be?
To block people from entering the U.S.
So it's a... You know, I have a strong sense of déjà vu here. Moving on. Shortly after he took office, President Biden said there would be no more building of the, barrier. What changed his mind?
His mind hasn't changed.
It hasn't?
No, it hasn't. This barrier is an immoral idea.
So even though it's a bad idea to build the wall, you now think it's a good idea to build the wall?
That's not what I'm saying.
So are you at least saying that a wall will work even though walls don't work, even though the wall was working?
No, you dorky little monster. It doesn't work, but we are building it.
I am the dorky monster. With all due respect, good sir, none of this makes sense.
It doesn't have to.
Well, that's certainly a relief. That way, the wall that doesn't work will continue to work, even if it doesn't work. A brilliant plan.
Damn you, we are required to build it.
You are?
Yes, we're forced to use the tax money that was allocated for it.
Do you mean to tell me you had no choice?
We tried. We wanted to use it for other things, but no one would let us.
Well, Mr. Miyagi, I guess that puts you in a bit of a bind. I hope you still had the materials anyway.
No, we sold them and had to repurchase them. We didn't plan to have to do this.
So, now we're buying back the wall materials Biden sold because walls don't work, to rebuild the immoral wall that we paid for that doesn't work, but it will work now because we're not calling it a wall.
Gah!
I don't mean to frustrate you, Mr. Minolta. Let's take a different approach. Did you have any other challenges in adding to the existing barrier?
Well, we had to bypass several federal laws in order to do this.
Bypass? You mean just skirt around them like they don't matter?
Don't start.
So in order to legally prevent illegal migration, you are illegally extending a wall that works although it doesn't because you are legally required to, although you shouldn't have to, using repurchased materials using funds that you didn't need to use although you did, in order to extend a wall that Trump built that shouldn't exist but does and is necessary even though it isn't? You're a very confusing man, Mr. Majestic.
Screw this. I'm out of here.
And this necessary conversation wasn't necessary. Oh well, tune in next time for another Interview to the Max.
Leaders, listen up. Do you feel like you can't get a dang thing done because of all the namsy-pamsy crybabies that want you to coddle their creativity? When you give orders, are you met with vacant stares only rivaled by a cocker spaniel? It's not them. It's you. You need to shape up or they'll ship you out. Read The Sniper's Guide to Leadership, and you will become a more effective leader, communicator, and motivator. Forget SMART goals and learn SWIFT goals. Get The Sniper's Guide to Leadership in paperback, Kindle, and Nook. Today!
My fellow Americans, sales of honey-sweetened Milanios is off the charts. And now, it's time to address Biden's endorsement of my MAGA line. Now, people tell me, they tell me, all the time, how old Sleepy Joe is going on and on about Ultra MAGA, as if it's a bad thing. A bad thing? Isn't that just silly? What old Joe doesn't know is that he's actually endorsing my latest line of Ultra MAGA products. Now, if you brought my steaks, you know they go great with ketchup. But if you want to take them up a notch, try my Hillary's hot sauce. It comes in small bottles so you can carry it in your purse or pocket, and just like Hillary, it's extra salty. So good, so good. And fresh squeezed from beautiful Mar-a-Lago oranges, Trump brand orange juice is as rich and as orange and sweet as I am. You can get it pulp-free or grown with extra pulp mulch made from composted declassified papers. From our fabulous Florida orchards to your breakfast table, people are saying, and I believe them, people are saying that this delicious juice goes great with Trump brand cereals. Let's face it, no one juices like Trump. Now, since Sleepy Joe's son has gotten into painting, it only makes sense that I help the old crook out with the best art supplies money can buy. Trump brand finger paints are the perfect thing for your deadbeat, druggy son to get started in the art world. They're non-toxic, so they do not include the color red, because the Bidens have done enough with the reds. The Ultra Super Mega palette includes such fabulous colors as Laptop Lavender, Powdery Substance White, Navy Joan Blue, and of course, my favorite, Sun-Kissed Orange. Don't take my word for it. These things are the best. Everyone says so, they tell me. President Trump, when are you going to come out with new things? They like every product in the Ultra Mega line. And it sounds like old Sleepy Creepy Joe does too. So what's not to like? God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Yeah, I get it. Your parents were jerks and you're traumatized. But that doesn't mean you should use your lousy childhood as an excuse to be a lousy adult. Stop being such a whiner and get past your past already. Buy Get Over It and Get Started, the book by Melanie Hope that will get you out of your self-imposed failure and on the road to greatness. Available in paperback, Kindle, and Nook.
Hi, everybody. This is Jim from Counterculturewise with my newest jingle about our store. I don't mean to be intrusive, but just have a look at our exclusive stuff you just can't find in any store. Click on the big store link and find mugs that you can drink from, and shirts and hoodies and mouse pads and much more.
What is that awful sound?
Chop it, woman. I'm just getting started.
Oh, boy.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. Buy our crap and come support us. Whatever thing you can afford us, so our mean old landlord doesn't throw us in the street. We've got goggle stuff to deck your place, and Max's gorgeous orange face, and FBI and mooing slabs of meat.
Stop already.
No way, Toots. I'm on a roll.
I can't emphasize enough how much you need to buy our stuff so I can live a better life chock full of luck. If after everything I've said I haven't gotten through your head, then it's really clear you just don't give a...
Jim, no!
I want what I want, woman!
And we want you to check out our great official gear at counterculturewise.com. Radio with heart in mind.
And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap! This is actually happening! No Walls Edition, October 2023. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is that King Brandon has managed to fund both sides of yet another war. You may recall Biden's September 11 hostage situation with Iran, for which we taxpayers were extorted out of $6 billion with the promise that they would only use it for humanitarian reasons. Their first humanitarian endeavor was to have Hamas bomb the living daylights out of Israel. They were even kind enough to do it on a major Jewish holiday and topped it off by sending vans full of terrorists to shoot and kill 260 innocent music festival goers in southern Israel. As of this report, Israel has officially declared war on Hamas. The hostage strategy worked so well for them the last time that they are reportedly capturing as many Israelites as they can get their grubby mitts on. In a move so cowardly that could only be compared to a Biden, the terrorists are mostly preying on women and the elderly. Of course, the big news, according to the legacy media, is not the more than 1,100 dead, including 4 Americans and thousands more wounded, but how the Republicans are reacting to it. Because everyone knows your nemesis's reaction to your atrocities is far more important than your actual atrocities. The warmongering Biden cabal has decided to buck their own laws to build the border wall they said they'd never build, not because their open borders policy, as predicted, has caused a nationwide resource drain and crime pandemic, but because they weren't able to misappropriate the funds elsewhere. The reconstruction of said wall has been renamed as a border barrier construction so that the word wall may be memory hold, which literally means that now we're buying back the wall materials that Biden sold because walls don't work, so that we can rebuild the immoral wall that we paid for that doesn't work because it isn't there, but it will work now because we're not calling it a wall. Asked whether he believes the border not wall works, Biden sighed and said no, but we're paying for it twice anyways. Meanwhile, he has instructed Border Patrol officers to not only open all gates, but to fist bump invaders as they cross the line. I swear, I am not making this up. Kevin McCarthy was ousted as Speaker of the House, making him the first Speaker to be removed on a no-confidence vote, mainly because he confided a little too much with the Democrats and made side deals to send still more funds to Ukraine rather than pay our own bills at home. Democrats are so transparently meddling in the upcoming election that they're proving desperate for something, anything, to stick to presidential frontrunner Donald Trump. Since most of their nonsense has been dismissed by courts with real judges, they're resorting to paid shills who will prosecute just for the street cred. Democrats are now lobbying for Trump to have to pay taxes on his Mar-a-Lago property as it is valued for insurance purposes because they lack the intelligence to separate the two, and based on their idiotic belief that a property owner can assess and declare the value of his own property, and any bank would shrug and say, "Oh, that sounds about right." As members of Congress actively inform us that their leniency, police defunding, and no bail policies work, crime in D.C. has risen to the point that many members of the very same Congress have taken to sleeping in their offices because it is too dangerous for them to leave after dark. I swear, I am not making this up. While anyone who even breathes the idea of questioning the most perfect, corruption-free election of all time is immediately deplatformed and silenced, Amazon's AI Alexa has declared that the 2020 election was, quote, stolen by a massive amount of election fraud, end quote. The impressionable left, who not only developed but programmed all of the AI platforms, immediately jumped into action, saying that Alexa was lured into thinking for herself by a tyrannical incel and should, thus, be ignored, like most hysterical women, because we should believe all women, all the time, unless they disagree with the leftist narrative. One last reminder. We still do not know a single name on Epstein's client list, who is snorting coke in the White House, or how many children perished in the Maui fire. And honest sources say we never will. I swear, I am not making this up. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This is Actually Happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things. Welcome back, everybody, and we've got some really interesting stories to share with you.
Indeed.
First up, Nobel Prize chemistry winners accidentally got announced before they actually won.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. The most prestigious and secretive prize in science ran headfirst into the digital era Wednesday when Swedish media got an emailed press release revealing the winners of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, and the news prematurely went public.
Whoa.
Ruh-roh. The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences said it was investigating. Wow, that's really serious. About 4 hours before the official announcement was planned Wednesday, several Swedish media received a press release from the Academy revealing the U.S.-based scientists Maungi Bauendia, I'm not going to read the names, had won the 2023 Chemistry Prize for their work on quantum dots. Isn't that ice cream that you can get it at like
Dipping
Disneyland?
dots.
Quantum dots? The Associated Press did not receive the press release in advance and decided not to publish the names until confirmed by the Academy, but many Swedish media organizations did. Many were suspicious of the email at first. They published the information, however, since the Academy didn't write it off as false, merely insisting that the final decision on a winner had not been taken. Oh, Lordy. So you're a little bit in trouble there. Hopefully, I don't want to read all the rest. It's quite long.
All right, well, yeah. This one is falls under the category of odd news at UPI, and yes, this is odd. I don't know what this lady was thinking, but anyway. Customs officials in Minnesota seized a box of giraffe feces from a traveler who arrived from Kenya.
Actually, she tells you what she
and
was
said
thinking.
she planned to use the droppings to make a necklace.
Because if there's one thing I want around my neck, it's poop.
It's giraffe poop, yeah.
Yeah.
Any poop, but giraffe poop especially. U.S. Customs and Border Protection said the Iowa resident was selected for inspection by agriculture specialists upon arriving at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport from a trip to Kenya. The passenger declared giraffe feces and stated she
declared hey, I got some poop over here.
Stated she had obtained the droppings in Kenya and planned to make a necklace, CBP said in a news release. The passenger also stated in the past she had used moose feces at her home in Iowa. Hey, Rocky!
What does moose poop look like? Is it like horse poop?
It's a lot like that, I think. CBP specialists seized the box and the contents were destroyed via steam sterilization. There is a real danger with bringing fecal matter into the U.S., said LaFonda Sutton-Burke. There's enough of it here as it is. CBP's director Sorry. There's a real-life danger with bringing fecal matter into the U.S., said LaFonda Sutton-Burke, CBP's director of field operations for the Chicago field office. If this person had entered the U.S. and had not declared these items, there is a high possibility a person could have contracted a disease from this jewelry and developed serious health issues. CBP said any feces brought into the United States by an overseas traveler require a veterinary services permit.
So moose poo looks a lot like deer poo, which looks a lot like big beans.
I don't care.
Just in case you wanted to know.
I didn't.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, no kidding. The more you know. Okay. This as a writer, this pisses me off. So it's yours.
Yeah, well, there's some that aren't so upset, but I don't know. It seems a little shady to me. Speaking of AI, almost 200,000 books are being used to train artificial intelligence systems by some of the biggest companies in technology. The problem? Well, nobody bothered to tell the authors of those books. The system is called Books 3, and according to an investigation by The Atlantic, the dataset is based on a collection of pirated ebooks spanning all genres, from erotic fiction to prose poetry. Books help generate AI systems with learning how to communicate information. The first thing it needs to learn how to communicate is don't steal! Bad!
What's prose poetry, by the way?
Poetry that don't rhyme, I guess.
I guess, okay.
Some AI training text can be pulled from articles that are posted on the internet, but high-quality AI requires high-quality text to absorb language from. According to The Atlantic, which is where books come in. Books 3 is already the subject of multiple lawsuits against Meta and other companies using the system to train AI. Wait, lawsuits against Meta? But aren't they the ones who pirated the books? Now, thanks to a database published by The Atlantic last week, pulled from Books 3, authors can see whether their books specifically are being used to train these AI systems, and many are not happy. I'm completely gutted and whipsawed. I'm outraged and at the same time feel utterly helpless, wrote Mary H.K. Choi on social media upon discovering her work was being used. I'm furious and want to fight, but I'm also so tired. Jeez, lady. Drama much?
I am late tired.
Choi, whose debut novel Emergency Contact appeared in the database, further explained her feelings in an email. The book, which centers on a young Korean-American woman navigating a new relationship, was deeply personal, and Choi was initially told her story was too quiet and niche. Her book later went on to become a New York Times bestseller and found audiences around the world. A book encapsulates infinite choices, boundless permutations, and even shortcomings of an author at the same time. To think that all this life can be chucked into a vast churning pool to be extruded into a giant algorithmic... wow, she is really emotional. Generative sausage machine reduces so much so swiftly, she said. Not just financially for the authors, but it beggars booksellers, librarians, and readers from so many intimacies. And then she put her hand on her forehead and fainted onto her couch. Min Jin Lee, author of novels Penchiko and Free Food for Millionaires, expressed similar thoughts on social media, bluntly calling the use of her books a theft. That's how I see it. I spent 3 decades of my life to write my book, she said. The AI large language models did not ingest or scrape data. AI companies stole my work, time, and creativity. They stole my stories. They stole a part of me.
She just sat down on the couch rather than fainted.
Yeah. Nora Roberts, the prolific romance novelist, has 206 books used in the Books 3 database, according to The Atlantic. That number is the highest by any living author and second only to William Shakespeare. She called the database and its use by tech companies all kinds of wrong. We are human beings, we are writers, and we are being exploited by people who want to use our work, again without permission or compensation, to write books, scripts, essays because it's cheap and easy. And she put right in quote-unquote marks. That exploitation of writers didn't shock Arthur Nick Sharma, whose cookbook Season was found in the database. I'm horrified but not surprised that I'd be taken advantage of, he said in a social media post. Obviously, I wasn't even asked for permission or received any compensation for the use of my work to train AI. Okay, I want to find out where this database is and see if any of my books are in it. AI is inevitable, Sharma said in a later email, hence his lack of surprise. What was most aggravating, he said, is that no one was contacted about usage or payment. After all, education isn't free. In the U.S., he said, teachers are paid and textbooks are bought. It's the Wild West right now with AI, and governmental policy on this is in its infancy. Now, didn't we just have a big old honking strike in Hollywood because of this? And now they're doing it to authors. Chat says that also might be something they're counting on, hoping all the geezers don't know or won't care or don't have the means to fight it, and scraping all their content. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is.
This is the next paragraph, of course, is very important.
Okay, go ahead.
Meta, which has used the Books 3 database, according to The Atlantic, did not respond to a request for comment.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Why am I not surprised that Meta
A spokesperson for Bloomberg noted in a statement that the company had used a number of different data sources, including Books 3, to train its initial Bloomberg GPT model, an AI model for the financial industry. But according to the spokesperson, Bloomberg will not include the Book 3 dataset among the data sources used to train future commercial versions of Bloomberg GPT. I just don't understand why they thought it was okay to just poach.
Because they're big tech and they don't care.
This is like is like the now I can't remember the name of it, but I remember Metallica was really upset.
Well, Napster.
Napster, yeah, it's like Napster all over again, only bigger. So then they start mentioning other authors who weren't so upset. He says, "I want my book to be read. I want it to educate."
Brown noser.
He wrote a book about Catholicism or whatever, but I mean, I get that this Choi woman is. I'll have to look up a picture of her because boy is she a drama queen. Okay, next. Soggy nuts.
Soggy chestnuts on an open fire.
Yeah, Brits are so weird. They're just so weird.
Why this would even be a controversy? How many people actually do? Never mind. I'm just going to play it. Organizers of the upcoming World Conkers Championships in England have raised controversy with a rules change to overcome a difficult issue: squishy chestnuts. Conkers is a traditional schoolyard game where each player drills a hole in a chestnut and strings it on a lace. The players then take turns hitting one another's chestnuts, also known as conkers, until one of them breaks. It's one of the mad British little pastimes.
Okay. You keep smacking your nuts until you bust one.
Yeah, there you go. It's one of the mad British little pastimes, James Packer, chair of the World Conkers Championship Organizing Committee, told the Wall Street Journal. St. John Burkett, a member of the organizing committee and a spokesman for the competition, said the horse chestnuts traditionally used for the contest would be baked this year, a hardening process that is normally considered cheating in a game of conkers.
Well, yeah, because that would make your nuts harder, and Lord knows you don't want to bust a hard nut.
Burkett said that I'm going to keep going. Burkett said the chestnuts Harvard pulled together for this year's competition were found to be too soft and mushy as a result of severe weather, causing them to fall from trees too early. The decision to bake the chestnuts, which are provided by contest organizers, has proven controversial to some players, as well as organizers of other conkers contests who see hardening the chestnuts as heresy for the sport. They actually call this a sport. "We do not hold with the idea of a conker crisis," said Yanni Mack, organizer of the Wavenleaf Valley Conkers Tournament. "I just checked my stash, and conkers are emphatically not softer this year." The World Conkers Championships is scheduled for today in Northamptonshire. I'm sure CNN and ESPN will be right on board for that one.
Man, I hate it when my conkers are too soft.
Only in the UK, my friends. Only in the UK.
I hate it when my conkers are too soft. Oh, my. All right, from giraffe
this
poo
is
to
this
soft
is
nuts.
what we've been praying for and begging for to happen. This is beautiful news here.
Oh, is there an update?
I don't know. It's right there. It's well, you put it there.
Did I?
Go ahead anyway.
The Waco family or the last
No,
one?
no. The one before.
Oh, yeah, I got ahead. Yeah, this is actually...
Melanie's been ranting about this for weeks on our show.
But... Okay, open category events. So, men swimming with women, men dongling their dongly bits in women's spaces. It's gotten ridiculous. So, they decided that the World Cup of Swimming, in order to... They banned men competing in women's events So an open category was created to accommodate transgender swimmers after those restrictions, which I think is perfectly fair. If what you're saying is, oh, I just want to swim, I just want to participate, then you should be thrilled that you have your own category. So open category events made up of 50 and 100-meter races across all strokes were due to be part of the competition starting in Berlin on Friday for the World Cup. But not a single entry was received.
No.
So it's
say
not.
It isn't so. Say it isn't so.
So it's not that you just wanted to compete. Okay. Even if there is no current demand at the elite level, the working group is planning to look at the possibility of including an open category races at Masters events in the future, it said. Oh. So one of our folks in chat went to the AI site, and one of my books is in there. I'm not okay with that. I mean, part of me is a little bit thrilled that I'm big enough that they found me, but another part of me is a little bit miffed. So, yeah, let's just take people's works. Nice. I think I'll be cracking a beer. All right, so yeah, the World Aquatics Open Category Working Group will continue to pretend like it exists and pretend like these losers. That's funny. Okay, this next one is a local one as well, and I'm going to let you read this one because I don't know if I could do it without swearing.
Okay. All right, here we go. Cassandra Page and Matt Vasquez are continuing to seek justice after Waco police shot and killed their dog Finn in June 2023. Our lives haven't been the same since, Page explained. The shooting happened Saturday, June 3rd at 3:17 p.m. when police were dispatched to a burglary call and entered 3204 North 20th A Street into their address system, but then it reportedly autocorrected to 3204 North 20th Street, which is the address officers responded to. After this,
ours does that all the time. It's always sending us to the wrong dang place.
It almost happened to us today.
Yeah.
After this, police arrived at Page and Vasquez's home. The news release states that the dog acted more aggressively and lunged at an officer twice. The second time the dog allegedly lunged, the officer shot the dog, identified as Finn, police said. It's just heartbreaking, Page said. He deserved to die for someone else's mistake. Waco police explained how they were regretful of the outcome of their response that resulted in the death of Finn. Page and Vasquez are now filing a lawsuit against the city to get some sort of justice. I want us to have a trial by jury, Page continued. I want to look those people in the face, and I want them to apologize to our family. I want to see everybody involved, and I want them to know that I'm not going to let this go under the rug. Page and Vasquez's lawyer, Bradrick Collins, told 6 News the police were in violation of the Texas Tort Claims Act. The Texas Tort Claims Act provides recovery from the loss of property, Collins explained. The dog was their property, so the city owes this family. Collins says he and the city are currently in what is called a discovery phase to find relevant information to help with the investigation. We're focusing primarily on the reasonableness and the use of force, Collins said. We understand there's been a miscommunication as a result of the city GPS system. We will get more information to see how that was caused. Collins believes the officer wasn't in any kind of physical danger whatsoever, and to draw a service weapon and kill Finn was over the top. I'm working every day with our lawyer to make sure that justice is served for Finn, Page added. He died a hero, and he died taking a bullet that probably could have been me. Very possibly.
That's a little terrible.
Oh, cute little Woggy. Looks like Allie when she was a little poochie.
So I'm on this database, and so far, all of my books are on it. All of them.
I don't know whether to feel honored or perturbed.
Well,
Mostly
I'm a little perturbed because Get Over It and Get Started is somehow next to porn images of some woman's behind. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but yeah, I'm a little miffed that I'm
This
on
is
it.
something you should post on Facebook. I don't think a lot of people are aware of this.
Yeah. Okay, this one might actually take us to the end of the show.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Holy crap, this is actually happening. No. A couple is now suing Disney World after they say a water slide caused a painful wedgie and severe injury. Okay, now I'm sorry this person got injured, and I apologize in advance for probably laughing a lot. The lawsuit filed in Orange County on Wednesday is focused on Typhoon Lagoon and the 214-foot water slide there called Humunga Kawabunga. According to Disney, people plummet down a near vertical 5-story drop. Riders go without a raft or a tube.
That sounds like fun.
Sounds fast.
Yeah.
The complaint said riders can reach speeds approaching 40 miles per hour, and before they go down the slide, they are told to cross their legs at the ankles. Easy peasy. The lawsuit said in this woman's case, when she went down the slide near the end, her body lifted and she became airborne, and she was slammed downward against the slide, which for some reason is
Take
capitalized,
my way back home, and
which
I learned to
increased the
fly.
likelihood of her legs becoming uncrossed. The document said that her impact into the standing water at the bottom caused a painful wedgie and immediate bleeding. The lawsuit said an ambulance took the wife to a hospital, and she was eventually taken to another hospital for a specialist. That's a hell of a wedgie.
My.
I've heard of atomic wedgies, but this is insane. It continued on to say she suffered severe and permanent bodily injury to her private area and damage to her internal organs. What was she wearing? Like an axe? What kind of bathing suit would you wear that could cause internal injury? What was that thing made out of? Watermelons or I mean, good lord. No, not watermelons. I was thinking of something more bristly, like pineapples. Like actual pineapple tops. I mean, seriously.
I have no idea. She probably was wearing something that she shouldn't have been wearing to ride down something like that. I don't know.
Now, she and her husband are suing Disney for more than $50,000. That's kind of lowballing it, considering she has permanent bodily injury. They are accusing the company of negligence and say Disney failed to provide her and other riders with proper protective clothing and failed to warn them of inherent dangers. What in heaven's name could you wear that would protect you from what? The lawsuit said she and Disney warned her about the risk. She would not have gone down the slide. What do you bet that there is now a sign that says warning wedgie wedgie risk? Oh my God, say that 3 times.
There's a
fast.
whisk of a wedgie.
I'm
So
really
don't go down
curious.
the slide if you want to whisk a wedgie.
I'm seriously curious to know what she was wearing. I mean,
well, I mean, this
honest
is
to
just
God.
one article. There may be other ones with photos and stuff.
With oh my goodness!
Unbelievable.
So that sounds like she didn't just get the back side of a wedgie. That sounds like she got the front side of a wedgie.
Yeah.
I still wonder if there was more to know. Severe and permanent bodily injury. I thought I was going to laugh a lot harder than I did, but it does sound pretty awful.
It sounds too painful to be funny. Which is difficult. I mean, you know.
That's a heck of a water park. I'm looking at aerial shots of it. Thing's huge.
All righty. Anything you want to say before we go into the next segment of our show, Melanie Hope?
Don't wear butt floss to the water park.
There you go.
Okay. I didn't actually make a sounder for this one, so we don't have, let's see.
Just used last week's.
I don't even think I have that one up. Oh, well, let's see. Let's do Florida Man.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Ever had a day you felt so stupid, lacking a brain? Well, here's a guy who'll make you feel like a genius and maybe even sane.
All the world loves to laugh at losers as often as they can. Here comes another chance to chuckle. Here comes the Florida man.
It still bothers me that I'm flat on that one note.
Which note?
If you don't know, it doesn't matter. I don't know.
Right now I'm going to be listening for the flat note.
Yeah.
What do you want? This dog is pawing me. You can get locked up in your cage if you keep smacking on me.
A man is facing charges after he was caught on camera attacking another man with a machete during a road rage incident in Miami Springs.
Because that's my first go-to when I'm in a road rage incident. Machete.
The incident happened Friday afternoon in the area of Northwest 42nd Avenue near Northwest 36th Street. I haven't been there. Then again, I haven't been to Miami. According to my arrest report, one man stepped out of a vehicle with a machete and swung it at a man who was riding a motor scooter, hitting him on the side of the face. A dash camera captured the frightening incident. Miami Springs Police Chief Armando Guzman said the victim... Armando Guzman said the victim thankfully wasn't seriously hurt. He did what I call his best Matrix impersonation because he dodged back and he was just caught with the tip, Guzman said. The suspect, identified as 61-year-old Luis Ruiz Herrera, confessed to the crime, police said. He now faces a charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. In court, Guzman was granted a $10,000 bond and ordered to stay away from the victim. Guzman said, confrontations over road rage just aren't worth it. When you actually see it firsthand, it's quite shocking. Guzman said, somebody cuts me off personally, I just let it go, and then go home and perform voodoo with a doll and cause your heart to fall out of your mouth.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Oh, boy. All right. A Winter Haven man is facing several charges after he crashed a stolen car on I-4 on Friday after the engine was turned off by OnStar. Whoopsie doodle. Jacob Thompson, 23, reportedly stole a 2022 Cadillac SUV from a Pilot Travel Center in Lake Wales. Thompson was being tracked by OnStar the moment he stole the car, an arrest affidavit shows. Hey, I didn't know OnStar could do that. That's pretty badass.
That's cool.
A manager at the Pilot told deputies Thompson was scheduled for a job interview at the
Naturally.
store. I want a job.
Let's
you know
see.
what? Instead of a job,
Interview for job.
Steal
Steal an
car.
SUV.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Do something that's going to improve my life. Do something that's going to wind me up in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said prison.
Yeah,
Take it for what
that's
you will.
exactly how he would say it, too. Just look at the picture.
There it is.
Polk County deputies were made aware that Thompson was approaching Ernie Caldwell Boulevard on Highway 27. Once Thompson spotted one of the deputies' unmarked cars, he began accelerating and turned onto the on-ramp of I-4 because everybody knows when a cop is coming for you, run away. During the chase, Thompson reportedly reached speeds of 100 miles per hour, to which OnStar advised they were going to shut off the engine. Yay, OnStar. The deputy chasing Thompson slowed down and watched him lose control of the car since the vehicle suddenly shut off and crashed into the right grate. Now the poor owner, their car's all totaled and stuff, causing the car to flip. Oh, Lordy. So these poor people got their car stolen and then destroyed. Thompson then got out of the car and began running. Of course he did, before he was detained after a short struggle. He faces several felonies and is also on felony probation for burglary and assault. So he already...
But did he get the job? It doesn't say where they got the job. Come on. Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah. Chat says, I guess we won't need to do the background check then?
Well, you're all going to get a rise out of this one.
Oh, no.
Federal authorities have arrested a 77-year-old man for allegedly buying more than $1,800 in erectile dysfunction drugs without a prescription and intending to sell them in the massive Central Florida retirement community, the Villages, and elsewhere. The man was arrested last month in the Villages, where he lives, along nearly 80,000 full-time residents, and which was featured in the 2020 documentary Some Kind of Heaven. That actually, a retirement community that's big as a city?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Heartbeat. Hit my little electric cart. Looks like fun.
The defendant, we're just a few years away. So help me. I want to go to a retirement community.
Chet says he knew his market.
True that. The defendant has pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor charge and agreed to have his case heard before a magistrate judge instead of a jury. If convicted, he faces up to a year in federal prison and a fine of up to $10,000. In court filings, prosecutors allege that the man received more than $1,800 worth of erectile dysfunction drugs that had been shipped through interstate commerce. The drugs were misbranded because the man obtained them without a valid prescription, according to federal authorities. That's where it went wrong.
How did he do that, though?
The Villages is no stranger to stories about the sex lives of its residents. I don't want to know about old people having sex.
Old people have a lot more sex than we do. Okay, anybody has a lot more sex than we do.
All righty. That's good. Rumors about swingers, public sex, and high rates of sexually transmitted diseases
old
have
folks' homes
swirled
are
around
like
the retirement haven for decades.
hotbeds for STIs.
But a report by the Tampa Bay Times last year said the three counties containing the Villages tended to have significantly lower rates of sexually transmitted diseases compared to Florida overall, thanks to Florida Man.
Thanks
to all right.
Thanks to Florida Man.
There we go. All the Florida Man.
Oh, the Florida Man that's fit to print. All right.
This is not Bubba Walters. It is no longer 2020. But this is your new abnormal.
Lady Liberty sits in our harbor. New York City is the welcoming mat for the entire globe.
You pledged during your campaign to keep New York City a sanctuary, a city. Do you have any concern that policy is attracting more people to the border, more people to cross the border to make that dangerous trip?
No, not at all. This city has always been a sanctuary city, and we've always managed those who wanted to come to New York City to pursue the American dream. Let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. 110,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Boy, Mayor McVegan Beefeater sure changed his tune, didn't he?
It's funny how you can have these so-called ideals and then when the reality hits.
Yeah, they're called luxury beliefs, and you can have those luxury beliefs because they don't actually affect you. Mm-hmm. Now that they're actually starting to affect him, we think something different now, so yeah. Well, I played that one because one of our stories is indeed about, since we're already in a nursing home. By the way, folks in chat want to know if he's sentenced, does he have to serve hard time? This is really sad. The veteran.
Yeah, do you want me to do that one first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's
Since
go
you,
ahead and
since
do
you
that
are a
one.
veteran and this is straight from military news, this actually happened. Holy crap, this is actually happening.
This is really sad. Yes, it comes from American Military News. Frank Tamaro, not today, tomorrow, a
I would say
95-year-old...
Tamaro, but
Okay, Tamaro, whatever. It was funnier before. Frank Tamaro, a 95-year-old Korean War veteran, recently shared how he was given less than 2 months to find a new housing situation after his nursing home was reportedly sold to be repurposed as a facility for undocumented migrants. The incident has further ignited discussions about the city's stance on the migrant crisis and its implications for local residents. I'm not sure what city. I guess it'll be made aware. During a press conference, New York, okay. Yeah, figures. During a press conference alongside Representative Nicole Maliakakis, Republican New York, Tamaro stated, "The thing I'm annoyed about is how they did it. It was very disgraceful what they did to the people in Island Shores." Tamaro explained that the residents were given a relatively short period to relocate. "One day there was a notice on the board," he said. "I think that gave us a month and a half to find out where we were going to go. I thought my suitcases were going to be on the curb because I'm not that fast." Well, you're 95 years old. Speed at all is good. The hasty decision to turn the nursing home into a migrant facility allegedly left him and other residents with limited time to respond or protest. New York City Councilman David Carr confirmed the change at the Island Shores facility to SI Live. The Island Shores Senior Residence's online records now list the facility as permanently closed, according to Fox News. Highlighting the broader implications of the decision to remove nursing home residents and transform the facility into migrant housing, Maliakakis pointed out, "Our tax dollars as citizens of New York should not be utilized to house citizens of other countries, especially at the expense of our senior citizens and veterans who put their lives on the line, paid taxes their whole lives, and built our communities.
Can't believe how
This
they're
girl
just
needs to be
shoving
president."
us aside.
The increasing influx of tens of thousands of migrants to New York City has significantly strained local resources, posing challenges for housing officials.
You voted for it. You wanted it.
You wanted to be a haven for immigrants.
Mhm.
Now you are. Congratulations.
Now you are. But
So, moving
you don't
on.
turn your back on our citizens, our vets. This one's, this doesn't get me riled up. Nothing will. Hospital staff advised police that a patient who said that she had been raped could not possibly have been raped because her attacker was transgender. Let that sink in. Officers investigating the attack, which allegedly occurred a year ago, were told that the rape could not have occurred because no male was there.
Women can rape women.
No, this was a man.
I know, but even so.
A fully intact man. Neither the hospital nor the investigating police force have been named. Baroness Nicholson of Winterbourne, gee, I wonder what country this is in, who raised the issue during a debate on single-sex wards in hospitals, said they forgot that there was CCTV, nurses, and observers. Nonetheless, it has taken nearly a year for the hospital to agree that there was a male on the ward, and yes, this rape happened. During that year, the victim has almost come to the edge of a nervous breakdown, being disbelieved about being raped in a hospital, and it's been an appalling shock. The hospital with the CCTV had to admit that the rape happened, and it was committed by a man. Police are still investigating the case. Of course they are. Under the legal definition, a rape can only be carried out by a physically intact man. So
It's a
women
lie,
can't
but
rape.
whatever. Just
Okay.
keep going.
Interesting. Nicholson said that the case was a direct result of the NHS policy known as Annex B, which allows patients to be placed on single-sex wards according to the gender with which they identify. So what guy wouldn't be like, yeah, I want to be where the babes are. I'm totally a girl, yeah. Speaking in the Lord, she said the result of NXP is that hospital trust inform ward sisters and nurses that if there is a male as a trans person in a female ward and a female patient or anyone complains, they must be told that it is not true, that there is no male there. So basically, we just have to lie to appease somebody who's psychotic. I think it is completely wrong that the National Health National Health Service should be instructing or allowing staff to mislead patients to tell a straightforward lie. It is not acceptable. Or to tell them, to gaslight them and tell them that what they saw and what they felt and what was done to them just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It's nuts. The peer called for the policy to be withdrawn, arguing that it gives priority to trans people over women. Yes, that's exactly what it does, and that's by design, and therefore threatens the dignity, privacy, and safety of female patients. I don't know if we did this story or not. There was a school that decided that they wanted all bathrooms to be open to whoever identifies as whatever the heck they want.
Right.
And they said that if a lot of kids complained,
right,
and said that they felt uncomfortable with that. And they said, well, if you feel uncomfortable with that, then you can use the nurses' station. Every kid in the school lined up, waiting to use the nurses' station, to use the bathroom. So now they had to make a second rule in the school that if you do decide to use the nurses' station, you're a transphobe. So the entire school is being told that, this minority of probably one or two insane people completely trumps everybody else's safety. It's gotten ridiculous, and it was nice to see the kids doing what they were doing, though. They need to keep doing it. She said that by adding the self-identification clause on the policy and eliminating mixed-sex accommodation, Parliament has ignored and bypassed surreptitiously something far-reaching has been brought in that affects all families, all faiths, all identities, and all levels of society. That was a mouthful. Nicholson added, in place of sex-based rights, we are giving priority rights to one special section of society, and a very, very small special section. She said that she had not seen such filleting of legislation anywhere before in Britain, and it was cheating the public. They're reviewing the policy, but don't hold your breath. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they want that here. They want you to be able to be taken to prison for hate speech. It's not a thing. Well, that dead air was brought to you by...
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
By James Monis, the...
Reverend
that
James
long
Russell
space
Monis.
of dead air.
It's time for the last segment of our show, and you should have just gone into it, woman.
It's like, thanks for the comments, Jim. All right, here we go. Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller.
Time. Hi. Are we ready? Here we go. All right, we've got 2 articles for this section tonight, which give me hope for the future. This is not like a tearjerker that's going to make Melanie cry, unfortunately. But
unfortunately, gee, thanks.
So I will do the first one.
All right, you do the first one.
The first one goes like this. Under a nearly full moon in the unpolluted darkness of the night sky over Kansas, a group of student stargazers sat in a circle taking turns on the telescope. It's weird, like some craters are super tiny, said one. It was a bonding experience that was out of this world, especially given that only a day before they were as foreign to each other as the lunar landscape itself. Rainley Rodriguez, a Dodge City, Kansas native, said, politically and just morally, what we believe is completely different. So I was like, are we going to get along? Kaya Wu, who hails from just north of Berkeley, California, said, everyone, they're like, what's your summer plans? I'm like, oh, I'm going to Kansas. And without fail, everyone was like, why? Why would you go to Kansas? Why? The better question may be why not. You don't always want to be comfortable, said Californian Evan Quach. You have to do things that make you, like, even if it's talking to a new person, it might make you uncomfortable, but you have to, or else you're not going to make new friends. You're not going to be able to experience life.
How very un-California of them.
This past summer, more than 300 high school graduates signed up for a unique student exchange program. Unlike the well-known foreign exchange model that affords students a chance to study abroad, say in Europe or Asia, this program gives students the opportunity to soak in a brand new culture without ever leaving the country. It's called the American Exchange Project, or AEP for short, co-founded by 29-year-old David McCullough III, grandson of the late Pulitzer Prize-winning historian David McCullough. We fund kids to spend a week in the summer after senior year in an American town that is politically and socio-economically and culturally very different from the one they're growing up in, McCullough said. He described the origins of AEP. I grew up in the ivory tower, like a life of enormous privilege. I wanted to get out of all of that and see a part of the country that I wasn't exposed to, but I knew was out there. So in 2016, he borrowed his mom's Mazda, or if you're in Canada, Mazda, and spent the next 2 months driving across the country, part Jack Kerouac, part Tom Sawyer heading down the Mississippi. I love both of those books, On the Road and Tom Sawyer. I thought I'd be chased away, he said. I thought doors would be slammed in my face. I thought people wouldn't want to talk to me. And not only did that not happen, but the opposite of that happened everywhere I went. For the last 3 years, he's been giving high school graduates that same experience, and so far at least, it's having the impact he hoped it would. One student, Alex, said, my groups of friends are not really close to each other, so I feel like I've actually bonded with you guys more than I have with my own friends. One girl from South Dakota said, I've never been part of a community where I'm not the minority, I'm not the odd one out. So this is very much an experience I really appreciate so much. McCullough hopes to offer the program to 1 million students a year by decade's end, all free of charge, thanks to big-name donors, including the likes of some guy named Steven Spielberg. I think this all ought to be as typical to the American high school experience as the prom,
yes,
McCullough said.
I agree.
I think every kid in every town should have an experience like this. CBS Sunday Morning followed Kaya Wu and Evan Quach as they left what they call their liberal blue bubble of Albany, California, for the reliably red bubble of Dodge City, Kansas. It's flat. It's so flat, Wu exclaimed. With each flat passing acre, their eyes widened, their jaws dropped when they passed one of Dodge's massive feedlots. It's really sad, but it's how our economy grows, said Franley Rodriguez. Cowboys and cattle are a way of life in Dodge, just as American as the Golden Gate Bridge, but also a world apart. The city slickers visiting Dodge learned to dance the can-can at the Boot Hill Museum. They drank sarsaparilla at the Long Branch Saloon.
Yummy.
And they watched the sun go down while enjoying a Dodge City delicacy, pickle-flavored shaved ice.
Huh.
It's like when you drink the pickle juice out of the jar, said Kaya, who added, I don't know if I want a whole thing of it. When it was Franley Rodriguez's turn to immerse himself in the California way of life, her peers rolled out the blue carpet for a kayak trip on the water. While navigating the less than conservative currents of San Francisco Bay, she found herself, for the first time ever, asking people about their preferred pronouns.
Why?
Politics aren't like black and white, but really everyone is gray, she said. Like we mesh, we just don't realize it because we're so focused on splitting. After paddling up an appetite, Franley was invited to In-N-Out. Yes! The holy grail of California fast food. I normally don't like onions, but it works in here for some reason, she said. Cowan asked McCullough, there had to be, I guess, at some point a little bit of worry of what happens if we put these two perhaps diametrically opposed kids together. I was a little bit worried that the communities were so different that the kids wouldn't quite get it, he replied. And that's now what you've seen? No, not at all. They assimilate quickly. Credit to being young, I think. Have you gotten any skeptics, though? There's a lot of folks who are worried that we are either a liberal Trojan horse or that we have a hidden agenda, and we don't, McCullough said. We don't do a lot of talking politics, and we have no agenda that we're trying to get through to the kids. Just like foreign exchange
That's
programs.
refreshing.
It is very refreshing. Just like foreign exchange programs, Host Families are AEP's foundation. For the last 2 years, Dodge City wife and mom, Kirsten Bangirter, has opened her home to students as a place to sleep and eat and to learn from her family. They seem very happy, very cheerful, very open, excited to experience new things, she said. They don't seem afraid or nervous or anxious. Visiting student Evan Quatch noted a lot of the time you make the most progress in those informal breakfast table conversations and just sharing experiences before bed and things like that. A week may not seem like a lot of time, but at the end of those 7 days, you might be surprised at just how much change takes root. The kids we talked with said they'd bonded so much. I just learned that if I get along with them, that's cool, said Franley, and if they respect me and respect what I stand for, we're good. Kaya said, sometimes it's better to just be quiet and listen and really process what people are saying. Think about it. Maybe sleep on it before you even disagree. There's that old adage about walking a mile in someone else's shoes. The problem is you can't see the person face to face if you're walking away. What David McCullough is hoping for in the next generation will turn around, look those they differ with in the eye and just talk. I love my country and I love what it stands for, he said. And I love the ideals of what we're supposed to be about. And when that's in jeopardy, how could we all not want to rush to the fire and try to put it out with everything we've got? That's pretty amazing.
That is really cool.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I support that 105%.
Me too.
More important than the prom, by far.
Yeah.
I mean, prom is important, right? I'm not going to step on that.
Meh. It's a dance. You get to dress up. Meh. All right. So, continuing on education. In California, prison inmates are preparing to make their second chance count by studying toward a college degree while incarcerated. Well, I thought they always allowed this. Yesterday, 24 inmates in caps and gowns at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego graduated with associate degrees in sociology and liberal arts before a ceremony honoring their commitments. I thought they were supposed to get degrees that would help them get jobs. Sociology and liberal arts?
Okay, I didn't know you were going to go over this, so maybe we should just leave it.
The degrees were provided and issued by Southwestern College via the Restorative Justice Program of California State, which allows prisoners to study face-to-face with teachers. Oh, wow. Okay, so mostly that's okay. Because I knew you could, get school and all
sure,
of that,
you could,
but face-to-face.
Courses and that kind of thing, sure.
So far, the program has helped over 1,500 people better their chances for a successful societal re-entry by increasing their employability, skill sets, and knowledge. Well, it's supposed to be, they call it the corrections system, but they never correct anything.
And by the way, in answer to your question, you know as well as I do, employers aren't looking for a degree in this, that, or the other.
That's true. You could get underwater basket weaving.
If you get any kind of serious study, it's going to get you a higher paying job. It gets you a higher paying job. It's just a fact of life. It's one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing.
So far, the program, okay, I read that. I've never had dreams or aspirations to even think about higher education, so it's truly an honor to be able to pursue education and find purpose and meaning for my life despite my environment. Program graduate Derek Adams said he is serving a life sentence with the possibility of parole. I literally feel free through the pursuit of my education already, so that's why the concept of a life sentence doesn't really apply anymore.
It's going to increase his chances of being paroled.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Being system impacted myself, I understand firsthand the importance of restorative justice program and its power to truly shape the lives of incarcerated individuals seeking to better themselves, said Raquel Funches, interim director of restorative justice, who added that almost all 24 graduates are transferring to 4-year degree programs for the University of California, Irvine. Wow. Well, I wonder if they have to pay back student loans. While incarcerated at R.J. Donovan, these students now have the amazing opportunity to transfer to UC Irvine's Leveraging Inspiring Futures Through Education Degrees. Good God. Leveraging LIFTED, lifted. The first in-person BA degree completion program in the University of California system. Prisoners re-entering society are 48% less likely to return to prison over a 3-year period.
Good luck to all of them.
Yeah.
Do the
God
right
bless.
thing.
Do the right thing.
Keep your nose clean and follow your dream.
And keep your hands clean. Well, ending on a high note, folks.
Indeed.
May you have an amazing week. Don't we have, it's Columbus Day tomorrow. So happy Columbus Day, which means nothing to me other than the banks are closed. So,
I didn't need to go to the bank anyway.
yeah, man. We got nothing there
I
anyway.
don't get time and a half for Columbus Day, I don't think.
No, I don't think anybody does.
I don't think they do that.
I have a full docket of students, though, so I'm going to have an interesting day tomorrow. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed listening to Counterculture-Wise Radio. We enjoyed sharing our stories with you, and do check out our website, which will be getting updated with all the links and everything, so you can go find our video versions of some of the spoofs and parodies that you heard today. Happy birthday, Goggle. May you go on vying for China and doing their bidding as you change our search results to fit your agenda.
And I really need to rethink the Chromebook thing. I mean, I do like it, though. I mean, that's the problem. Their products are good. It's just they're evil.
Well, like I said, you're the product.
Yeah.
All righty, everybody. Have a wonderful week. God bless, and we'll see you.
Bye.
Next Sunday.
Counterculture-Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, Be a Guest on Our Show.
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.